I stopped here to try to seduce these baby cows into coming over here and playing with me, but no luck yet. He's on the teat, so he's not going anywhere. But there are cows just all over Texas, and they are so precious with those big soulful eyes. Anyway, I am in Fredericksburg, Texas, a town that I did not like when I first got here, and that I was like, I'm done. I'm leaving. I've had enough. I ended up staying overnight, and I'm now totally in love with it. So I'm going to tell you some of the serendipitous events that will happen in van life, and also give you an Easter story, which I didn't expect to get here. And maybe that's why I had to come here, because there's a fantastic Easter story here in Texas, and it's almost Easter. And we will interrupt this movie if one of those cows gets any closer and I can pet it, but I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, here's what happened. It is now 90 degrees in Texas, and I have been trying so hard to chase 70 degrees during the day and in the 50s at night. I lost the battle, and now I'm here. This is part of the reason I didn't want solar, because no sane person parks a vehicle in the direct sun in the deep south when it's 90 degrees just so they can get power to cool it down. I mean, it gets so hot in here. It's hot, the van is muggy, it's humid as all hell. I need to do laundry so bad. I needed a shower, and I was like, okay, well, this is my one time a week I'm gonna go to an RV park. I called all the RV parks in this area. They were all $50. And I explained to them, I said, look, I don't even need a spot. I just need a plug, and I'm going to throw gobs of money into your laundry machine to do laundry. Nope, wouldn't hear it. Only full hookup sites. $50. The state parks, you have to pay the park fee, and then you have to pay the entrance fee. Nope, still on the teat. So you're looking at $40 there, and I was just like, and I get it, RV parks are made for RVs, and we're like the new kids on the block, but it was just like they wouldn't even hear it, and I just find that borderline criminal to even charge RVs $50 a night. I mean, you better be making me dinner for $50 a night. So it was a mess, and I was over it, and mostly because it just gets so hot and muggy in the van when it's this hot outside. So I was like, forget it. I've got the generator. I went to the visitor center, plugged up the generator, cooled down the van, got in my pajamas, and out of the side view mirror, I see these two people kind of doing the walk that people do when they want to check out the van, but they're not sure how to approach. So anyway, I peeked my head out, and I was like, oh, come over if you want to see it. They were older, and I gave them a van tour, and they have a Travado, which is the same thing as this. It's 3,500, so it's a little bit bigger, and it's made by Winnebago. Very nice, but very expensive. So we were just kind of all sharing. I think he just spit at her. Don't do that. That's rude. Men. Anyway. So we were just kind of sharing RV stories, and I was telling them about my great frustration with RV parks, and they were like, well, do you want to come plug in at our house? Now, stranger danger will tell you not to do that, but we just kind of clicked. It was a lot like that story that I told you all when I was in Apalachicola, and I met Hank and Edie, and they inspired the whole Babe Bus, and I just felt good about it, and they insisted. So I just followed them, trusting my gut, and it ended up being that they owned a winery. Oh no, they owned a vineyard. And so I got to sleep with the van plugged in at a vineyard in Texas, in hill country in Texas, under the stars. They had two awesome dogs, and I got two friends out of it. I mean, so that is, you're not going to see that on Instagram, and you're not going to see that. It's hard for me to even explain now that it's past point, but there are moments like that of serendipity that if you were home, you would never do that. If you were home in your hometown, you would never follow someone back and plug in. But when you are traveling, it forces you to get out of your comfort zone, to trust people, to go with your gut, and to take some chances. And in that case, it worked out beautifully, and it also gave me a business idea. Don't steal this, but I was thinking, RV parks are all networked, and iOverlander, the app, is phenomenal, but it mostly suggests Walmart parking lots. So what if you came up with a business that was an app or a website where you could pay, like, I don't know, a yearly membership fee, and all the van people or people who live in non-traditional settings could network and you just get a plug at a house. I mean, I would much rather give an individual $20 to just plug into their driveway or park in their driveway than sleep at a Walmart parking lot. And that doesn't really exist, because iOverlander mainly suggests Walmart, and RV parks are $50 a night. So there's got to be a solution there for van people. And I think I'm on the cusp of something brilliant. And they're still not making eye contact. So I'll just keep going with my story. Anyway, I left there. I had a great sleep because I felt safe. Now I'm chasing these cows out here, hoping to God one of them will let me pet them. And I just did all my laundry at the laundromat. It was so expensive, $6 a washing machine, but it's done, so I'm good to go. I also cooked my lunch in the parking lot of the laundromat because they had an unsupervised plug out there, so that worked out for me. All right, so let me tell you the Easter story of Fredericksburg, because I could not get this story out of the visitor center, and that was part of the reason I was so frustrated with the town, and frankly all the towns in Texas, because the green space, the lakes, the rivers, the canyons, the springs in Texas, those are all phenomenal, but the towns are so tourist driven that it's so people-y. There's just like, you know, when you don't want to be touched but like you can't help it because there's so many people, that's what it's like. And that's what Fredericksburg was like. So I was not having it. But they told me the history of Fredericksburg. Now all of Texas's history is pretty brutal. If the Spanish aren't fighting Mexico, they're fighting the Native Americans. I mean, many, many bloody battles. Remember the Alamo, right? In Fredericksburg, now there's a lot of German influence here because Texas was giving away free land to the Germans to say, please, dear God, come here, colonize this area. Like, it's poor, it's desolate. Come here, bring your families. You can have all this free acreage. So there's all these German settlers here who went through hell just to get here. And they get here, and then they're fighting the Native Americans. Pause, let me check for cow. No cow, they're still disinterested. Okay, maybe they don't like my story. Anyway, so the Germans are fighting the Comanche Indians, I hope I said that right, here in Fredericksburg, and the Comanche are vicious. They have to be. They're losing their land. And you'll see this in the town square. There's a statue of a German settler sharing a peace pipe with the Comanche or Comanche, however you say it, chief. A woman in the Indian tribe was not able to give birth. She was struggling with birth and she was going to die. And some midwives with the Germans found her, scooped her up, did all that magic that midwives can do, and they saved her and they saved the baby. And after that, the Indians were like, maybe these people aren't so bad. So they started interacting more, but it was still tense. And so finally, the German settlers, Germans don't speak Native American, Native Americans don't speak German, they're in each other's property. They finally sit down to have talk of a peace treaty, and it is stressful because they'll go right back to battling each other. And so what was happening is in the hills, and you can't really see them here because these cows are in my way, but there are hills all over this area. And what they were doing is the Indians would signal to one another on the hills with these smoke signals, and they'd put smoke up. And the townspeople, the Germans, knew that if the smoke went one way, it meant that the negotiations were going well and that they were going to have a peace treaty. And if the smoke went the other way, they were going to be back in battle. And the children in the town knew this, and they were totally freaked out, reasonably. I mean, people were dying. So the mothers didn't know what to tell their children about the smoke and the direction and what was going to happen. So when the smoke first went up, the mothers in the town told their kids that that was the Easter Bunny. He was making a fire so he could boil the water to make his Easter eggs. So don't worry about it. It's okay. Like that's just the Easter Bunny. He's getting ready to make Easter eggs. Anyway, the smoke went the right way, and they had a peace treaty. And the phenomenal thing about that peace treaty is I think they said the only one documented that was never broken. So you had these just rough and tough, vicious Indian tribe, these German settlers. They have nothing in common. They're fighting each other for every inch of land. And you get some midwives who save a life, and you get everybody in the right direction, and they make a peace treaty that goes into history, and now you have the beautiful town of Fredericksburg. And I love that because I love the Easter story, and I also think that perhaps we need to revise that monument in the town square and get those midwives up in there, although it may be kind of weird to have a woman utilizing her baby cannon in brass as a statue in a public space, but it's 2019, you can do anything you want. I think we need to add that in there. Anyway, I am going to try to seduce that baby cow over here. I love cows so much, they're like field puppies. And then we are onward to the next stop to see what we find. Enjoy this Texas sunshine and heat and humidity, and hopefully another great story that just stumbles right into my path. I'll see y'all later.